You know those moments when you're watching a couple, you don't have the slightest idea of who they are, and for some strange reason, you begin crafting a narrative in your head that describes their relationship just from their body language? And it happened to me when someone pitched me this clip on X. I had no idea who these two were, but it was obvious that people wanted to know what was the meaning of their body language signals, especially her, well, dangling from his neck with one hand. And yes, it's like one of those situations in which you are at a food court and you see a couple interacting on the table next to you, and you begin asking questions in your head. Maybe you want to know who the guy is, and he is Tommy Paul, an American tennis player that has just raised to the top of the American rankings and currently 12th in the world. The lady is his girlfriend, Paige Lawrence. Maybe her name rings a bell to you, especially if you follow Hollywood dramas, because she was also Armie Hammer's girlfriend back in the day. Maybe I should make a video about the Armie Hammer scandal at some point, but the short story is that they had a very tumultuous relationship, to say the least. Now, what we are seeing here is a public display of affection, something that between two adults that like each other should be no big deal. But the fact is that for every behavior analysis, we must consider the circumstances, what is going on around the people we are analyzing. And the circumstances are special for Paul because he had just won the tournament that put him at the head of American tennis. And the trophy, well, the size of the trophy speaks for itself. And I mentioned that because when I was commenting this on X, some suggested that, well, she was helping him hold the humongous trophy. And I say fair enough, but he looks like he could handle it very well himself. And at times it looked more like she wanted to take the trophy home. And I mean her home, because her body language signaled heavy leaning away from him. Maybe it's part of the Instagram model random aesthetic in which sometimes they pose with their head straight and sometimes they have that heavy lean of their head to one side. I certainly haven't been able to decipher how they make this sort of decisions, but to be fair, on her Instagram there are enough pictures on that they look okay, I guess. I think they are a cute couple. So her heavy leaning, not only with her head but her whole body, looked out of the ordinary. I mean, in itself it's not a bad thing, it's just odd. Now, there is a reason why I told you the circumstances were so important. Now, this was an important moment for Paul, and yes, maybe he's happy to share that moment with his girlfriend. But it's that feeling that she wants to make the moment about herself. I mean, this pose, including her hand on his neck, the pose in itself, it's pretty much okay. Yes, it is a bit dominant on her side because that hand gesture is a dominant gesture, but this time she's leaning into him, so it's okay. But I think what people have not noticed about this video is his body language. As everyone mentions her hand gesture, her attitude trying to pose for the camera, a bit clingy, but he's much more focused in just getting the photo taken. Look at his body. If it wasn't because she's bringing him towards herself, he will be pretty much on the same place without moving. So it's like he's trying to remain steady while she's pulling him towards herself. Also, the gesture itself. Taking a closer look at her hand, you can see that pressure, that her fingers are open and evenly distributed on his neck so as to cover as much space as possible. You can make the test yourself, putting your own hand on your neck. First, keep your fingers together the first time and then do it a second time with your fingers open. Please don't pull. It's not necessary. I don't want you to hurt your neck. Which one of the two versions do you feel as a PDA, a display of affection? And which one is more like a leverage so you can pull? Which one of the two felt more tender? Again, in many ways the gesture in itself is pretty much okay. It has that dominant quality, that is undeniable, but what makes it awkward and clingy are two things. Her body language trying to pose for the cameras and the circumstances. She's not the protagonist of the moment, so it's like I've told you a couple times when analyzing body language. You cannot just take one gesture out of context or try to make it have a meaning in itself. Unless, of course, you see it repeated again and again, because that will be a pattern. And one final detail is that I couldn't help but notice the grip she had on that trophy. She was absolutely not letting it go. But I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. Don't forget to download my 100 body language tips in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss.